Hello and welcome again to the Voice Actors Guild. I am your host, Frans Hans. And joining me today is the voice actor, and just all-around perfect talent, Kyle Jordan. Oh, thank you for joining us today. I'm glad to be here. Okay, now, just because I know everyone is ready to get started, let's just go ahead and jump right into the questions. These are the top 10 questions that your fans are wanting to know from you. Okay, so questions 1. What acting projects have you been in, and which are your favorites? I've been in quite a few acting projects, including 3 stage plays, a commercial. I've also been in 2 feature-length films, short film. I'm about to be in The Price for Loving, which is another short film. I've done, I think I'm up to 5 voice acting projects on YouTube. I guess my favorites, well, you always pick your first, which for me was Christmas Bells, playing Raynor Chisholm. Nothing quite like playing someone who's special. I also really loved playing Officer Tom O'Grady in the play Nana's Naughty Knickers, because that was definitely interesting. Never been near quite as much lingerie as I had been in that play. Let's see, working on America, the first film I had ever worked on, that one was fun. The project was terrible in the end, but the experience working with a great cast in that is definitely one of my tops. And Feral Pride is another one that's up there, because it was different. I never got to play a pervert, older type character like I did in that one. So it was definitely one of my favorites. Well, very good. Which form of acting do you prefer? Film, theater, or voice acting? Well, it's really hard to pick a favorite. They all have their good and bad qualities. You know, with film, it's really good when you see the finished project, and some of the experiences are pretty good, but it's always so rushed that you don't get to enjoy it as much as you would like to. And also the constant retaking on each scene sometimes gets a bit exhausting. With theater, you get to make connections with your other actors. You work on it for a few months, and when you finally get to perform it, you don't get to just live it one time. You get to live it as many nights as you perform. And the audience will give you an immediate response to what you're doing, whether it's a cheer, a laugh, a haw or a boo, or whatever. You know, you get that as you're performing and right after. They usually are pretty good about letting you know. And with voice acting, you don't have to work as hard with your body, but you do have to make up the lack of body acting with your voice, which makes an entirely different challenge in of itself. So that one's always fun for a challenge, because you get to play characters you normally wouldn't get to play, like a wolf, or so. I really don't like it. I just love acting itself. That is great answers, thank you. Do you... Okay, I am ready. Do you ever have time for yourself, or do you keep yourself way too busy for fun? Well, I usually try to keep myself pretty busy. Doesn't always work out, though, between job and finding acting work, spending time with the family, you know. I do always set aside at least one day a week for voice recording. Any projects that I have lines that need to be done, or auditions that I'd like to be a part of, I always set aside a day for that. But other than that, I usually have a decent amount of free time. Great, yes. Since you've been... Hold on, I don't even remember what it is. Since you've been in all types of projects, what movies, plays, and cartoons do you enjoy most? Well, being as nerdy as I am, I usually watch, the sci-fi type movies or comic book movies, superhero stuff, action, a lot of action, and I usually enjoy a good spoof movie on occasions. As far as plays, I've been in a few, but I haven't really watched any. But I do remember back in the day watching a performance of 12 Angry Men. I loved it, and that's why I got involved in the one that Chandler's Lincoln County on Stage was doing, because I thoroughly enjoy that one. And as far as cartoons, more of an anime guy. I like watching, Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, Naruto, pretty much anything Shonen Jump. Um, and some of the weirder ones I've ended up watching, some more that I'd rather not admit to. But that kind of thing. But I always make a little time for some South Park, Family Guy, Robot Chicken, adult type cartoons too. You are just so fantastic today. What hobbies do you enjoy in your free time? Well, nowadays I just do a lot of video game playing, comic book reading, anime watching. I do quite a bit of drawing now too. I usually work with either just pencil and paper, pen and ink, or I also really thoroughly enjoy oil pastels, because you get a lot of good blending out of that. So I do a lot of work with that. That is great. Very good stuff. But where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, I see myself, at least at the beginning of making acting a career, taking on a lot more paid jobs, getting a lot more involved. I don't know that I'd be moved out of the state yet, because there's still opportunities here, and until I get it as a steady flow and really get my name out there, I would probably still be here in Oklahoma. That sounds like a perfect place to be. So me and all of your fans have really got to know, what was it like kissing voice actress Rachel Messer in Love is Real? Pretty nice. I mean, just working on that project itself. Rachel Messer is a great actress, and so it was awesome working alongside her. The crew was awesome, and that one. The director was fantastic. So yeah, the whole thing was pretty good. I'm sure it was. Before acting, you were an animator. Tell us, how did you make the jump from animating to acting, and would you ever consider going back? You're right, I was pursuing animation before I started acting. But I got to a point, I realized that with animating, I loved it to a point that I could no longer work as a team with other people. I couldn't dumb my stuff down or try to go to a different level to match other people's animation styles. If it wasn't my own projects, it was hard to stay focused on. So I kept animating as a passion. And even though I don't do it at this particular time, once I get all the kinks worked out, I'm going to go back to it. I first made the jump to acting because I had given up on pursuing that career-wise. And looking at what else I could do, I thought voice acting would be a really good idea. I could do different voices, make up different characters completely, and I had a pretty good range, so I pursued it. I went in over at Seminole State College, took a few classes in acting and theater, and loved it. So I got involved in community theater, and have done these projects, and that's where it seems like I'm going at this point. So that's how I made the jump. As far as career-wise, I won't go back to animating, but as a passion, I will eventually go back to doing some animations. That's a great answer. Well, what are your biggest weaknesses? You know, like your kryptonite. Well, as a guy, pretty girls are always a weakness. But I think my biggest weakness is Taco Bell. That's why I'm not in the best shape right now, because I could eat Taco Bell seriously all day. Anybody who brings anything to me that is Taco Bell pretty much becomes my best friend at that point. So that's my biggest weakness. Other than that, nothing else really comes to mind. That is great. And I guess all the ladies would like to know, are you a single man? Yes. Yes, I am, unfortunately. Great, it's about time we wrap this thing up. I was getting a little bored here. So, again, I am your host, Frans Hans. Thank you for joining me today. And we will see you all next time, perhaps with a much more interesting guest, because this time was a complete snooze fest. Thank you, good night.